Hello, my name is Alicia Clark-Teper. Welcome back to my 40 days of healing, often done in silence. I am here today to talk about my journey with astrology and how that has affected my life. The beginning of it is a little um, uh, shows where I was at and to where I am now. And when I was 9 years old, my father bought a business, and the business was across the street from a place called the Alhambra Center. And every month they put out a circular, and the circular was marigold in color, very, very yellow orange. And I was old enough to cross the major street to go get it, and they were in the downstairs, and so you had to go in the door, down the stairs, and get it at the desk. And I would just always walk in and be so in awe of all the books and all of the candles and the crystals and the platonic solids and all of their shapes and the sacred geometry. And if anyone ever asked me if I needed anything, I would just be all wide-eyed and not able to speak and just mumble and go out. But it was one of my favorite things ever to be able to do. And I was then we would take it back to the store, and my dad had a couple women who worked for him, and I would just sit there and read it cover to cover, all about retrogrades and energy and how it impacts us. And then the horoscope section in there. And so bingo numbers, all sorts of things. And then in the very back of it, it had ads. And so this is back in the day. It was probably had gotten to be around 15 or 16, and we had to write off a self-addressed stamped envelope and put inside an envelope as well your birth information, your return address, of course, put a stamp on it and send it off. And then you would receive your chart in 3 months. And so I received my chart back, and they were handwritten charts. It was so beautiful. And yet I didn't understand it at all because I had no one to interpret it for me or to talk to about it. And so I looked at it and I didn't understand it, and I folded it up and I put it in a book. And then I remember also having a thing about the it's a circular chart in your planets. There's only 10 planets, but there's 12 houses, and sometimes they're all compact and other times they're spread all out. But there were things in there that didn't make sense to me. And so I was like, what is this? And I didn't receive my answers. And so then several years later, when the computers came out, I went online and got my chart, and I opened it up, and it was the exact same thing as what I had received before. And I was perplexed. Like, how does that happen? What is going on? This still says that these are going to be the situations that I or the fields, and not, again, understanding it completely. Folded it up, put it away. Years went by, and then I finally received a reading on my birth chart, and woo, did that ever crack the doors open. All those years I had been reading astrology books and dabbling in it and keeping up with my horoscope, but not ever really like seriously putting any time into it. And then when I finally received that reading, it was, well, I enrolled in an astrology class right thereafter, and I haven't stopped learning since. And so that was 2017, and right now we're sitting in 2023, so 6 years of tutorials now, teachers, different programs, different things to learn. And the thing that I have to say about astrology is people can say they choose astronomy, but there is no choice. They go hand in hand. Astronomy is the science of the planets, and astrology is the pattern recognition of the planets and how that translates down into energy that is used on the planet and absorbed, and what programs us to move us forward. So they are a hand-in-hand thing. Back in the day, astrologers, doctors were astrologers, and that's how they chose what medicines, and would understand how to work with the energies. And it was something that you had to learn in order to understand the process and the timings of things. And so we've gotten away from astrology, and only because it's empowering to you as an individual, and empowering ourselves is not always what everyone wants. So I encourage you, empower yourself, get to know astrology, get to know your timings, your patterns. Every single planet is alive in your life. It speaks through you in different actions that you take. And you can easily find your chart at astro.com, and you would fill in your birth chart data, so personal birth chart. You would need to know your birth date, your location, and the exact time in order to receive the most accurate birth chart. If you do not have the most exact time, then 12 noon is chosen, but you do not receive your rising sign. That is the one number that is necessary due to your exact birth time. So do note that you can pick up your chart, take a look at some of the things I was talking about, how it's circular, where your planets are located at, and get a feel for what that pattern is in your life. Each person's chart is an individual signature that you wanted to live and breathe through during your transit here on Earth. So I encourage you, empower yourself, get to know that life path, that greater dream, that operator's manual that you chose before we incarnated on the planet. I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. I look forward to connecting with you next time as I continue through these 40 days of healing are often done on our in silence. But going back to astrology, just one more thing is that helped me make validation. That here's why it comes back to the healing. When I got that chart and I then took the classes, it's because I need to know, and astrology has no bottom to it. You get this turn, and then you open up to a whole nother field, and then you think that you absorb some of that field, and then you turn and you open up to another one. So that is the joy of astrology to me, is that I will never, ever, ever, ever have all the answers, but I am so excited to try to find out more and more and more. So come grow with me with that. As I enrich myself with more studies and more knowledge in astrology, my readings get deeper and more targeted for certain things. And right now I'm working on what is happening in your energy for the next 1.5, 2 years when I work with clients. So it is the healing part, is the validation of it, the coming together with your chart and understanding that there was a greater plan that you had in mind. And then seeing the pattern on the chart allows you to synthesize that information on a level, whether you understand it or not, that pattern, that shape, that synthesis of information that is located in that zings you right back into a patterning that you recognize on a subconscious or superconscious level. With that, I truly, truly love you. So glad that you are here to learn a little bit more in the healing journey, and I will be back continuing my 40 days of healing is often done in silence. Till then.